My God, guys, Chicago is an absolute mess right now. I mean, literally, chaos is breaking out right now as woke Mayor Brandon Johnson faces this political fear of, I mean, this is epic proportions, guys. Get this, a 50-1 vote. This is shocking. 50-1. This was unanimous. The city council unanimously rejected this guy's proposed $300 million property tax hike. Unbelievable. And I will reject it too. Yes, every single alderman literally turned their back on this guy, delivering a humiliating and embarrassing blow to his leadership. So this isn't just a budget defeat, guys. This is literally a complete rejection of this wild mayor's woke policies and lack of direction. In fact, it's almost an about face based on what he campaigned on. But instead of accepting responsibility, this particular Chicago mayor, Brandon Johnson, he's now doubling down. In fact, he's spinning the narrative. He's invoking the so-called progressive values and even dragging Trump into the conversation with a completely desperate attempt to try to shift the blame. In fact, this mayor's rage, I mean, this is public rage. This ain't happening behind closed doors, guys. Public rage against Donald Trump literally shows just how bad he is embarrassed by this devastating defeat. I mean, he's just, at this point, I think he's just like grasping for straws, trying to pull anybody down with him. Kind of like somebody who falls in a swimming pool who can't swim. They're just reaching for anything, right? So the question now is, what led to this unprecedented vote of no confidence, right? Like, how has the city council turned so decisively against their own mayor? And more importantly, why is Mayor Johnson so obsessed with blaming Trump for his failures? Anyway, of course, we're gonna break it down for you guys. I'm gonna get you guys the detail behind this entire, this embarrassing political disaster. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's jump in.
The big question is still, where is that money gonna come from? Several aldermen who we spoke to say the city wouldn't have been in this position if the mayor would have collaborated sooner.
This matter has been voted down.
In a 50-0 vote, Chicago City Council emphatically rejected the mayor's budget proposal, which called for a $300 million increase to property taxes.
That's a devastating loss for Mayor Johnson. I've been here, going on 17 years. I've never seen this kind of vote take place. And I think in many of our lifetimes, we've never seen this. So it sends a message that massive property tax increase he was looking for is not going to happen.
At the end of the day, the state of Illinois has designed municipalities to run on property taxes. We have tried to do the best we can to avoid that. However, it becomes a point where some of those things are necessary.
We needed to send a message today that we're not going to balance this budget on the property taxes of working families.
Without revenue, we're in an upside-down predicament.
Mayor Johnson won't commit or provide specifics into how he will balance the budget, but he says it won't include cutting city services.
This is a healthy process. This is something that my administration can handle. I'm not intimidated by voices from individuals.
Liquor, garbage, amusement, and other city taxes could be increased.
Whether it's a property tax or any other tax, people will be impacted. We're going to pass a balanced budget that doesn't cut services and invest in people.
Several aldermen have been critical of what they call Mayor Johnson's failure to collaborate.
This is the fourth mayor. This is the first time I've seen that lack of collaboration, and this is why you get a 50-0 vote.
We, at this point, are now showing with a fully unified voice that the mayor's office needs to work with us to find an alternate way to balance this budget.
It is unanimous. Every single alderperson voted it down, the mayor's $300 million property tax proposal. They say they have plenty of ideas. Now Mayor Brandon Johnson is going to be forced to listen to them.
Yeah, so Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, he campaigned with this big, huge promise that everyone was on board with, that, he would not raise property taxes. He explicitly said that increasing property taxes is just not a good way to govern. And unfortunately, people actually believed him. However, as soon as he took office, Johnson proposed a massive $300 million property tax increase. Why? Well, because Chicago as a city is billions of dollars in debt. In fact, this huge financial crisis is partly attributed to Chicago's policies as a sanctuary city, right? So what does it mean for Chicago to be a sanctuary city? Well, it means that this city is welcoming and providing certain protections for undocumented immigrants. Brandon Johnson's administration has prioritized providing care and resources for undocumented immigrants. However, this, unfortunately, for the people who live in Chicago, it's led to a lot of backlash, as a lot of Chicago residents right now, they feel like, hey, Mayor Johnson and his woke ideologies is too focused on more on undocumented immigrants than they are on the actual citizens of Chicago, and they're mad, and rightfully so. I mean, in order to fund these very expensive programs, Johnson, he wants to raise taxes on Chicago's residents, which has caused a significant amount of controversy. 50-1, that means people don't want this crap. So the situation is part of a much bigger conflict. And this is between woke Democrats, specifically woke Democratic mayors like Brandon Johnson, and the federal government. And all of this is now under the Trump administration. I mean, although Trump is likely to move a lot of people out, heads are rolling. But Trump's former immigration chief, Tom Homan, has made it very clear that if Trump returns to office, his administration will, in fact, implement mass deportations of undocumented immigrants. Homan has even stated that they will enforce immigration laws, even if the sanctuary cities like Chicago and New York oppose these actions. Now, even more increasingly, not all Democratic mayors are like Brandon Johnson in their sanctuary city policies. For example, you got to look no further than New York City Mayor Eric Adams. He's been a lot more cautious and a lot less committed about opposing federal immigration enforcement. In fact, Mayor Eric Adams has been seen more of a reasonable approach, especially compared to Johnson's unwavering stance.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you? Two questions. First, you've predicted that mass deportations won't happen in New York City.
You said, I'm sorry.
You predicted that mass deportations won't happen in New York City.
I predicted that?
Yes, you've said that they won't happen here.
Okay, I don't know about predicted, but go ahead.
Do you think that they will happen here?
We're going to do everything possible to make sure that people are treated in a dignity and humane way that we've done for these last few years.
Okay, so then my question is, how can migrant New Yorkers be sure that they won't happen here, given that ICE can make arrests in New York City without police cooperation? And then the second question is, why should New Yorkers, including migrant New Yorkers, trust that you will advocate for them with the new Trump administration, given that you have a personal stake in winning the president's favor?
Okay, a couple of things. Do you think every New Yorker believes there should not or should be mass deportation? Do you believe every New Yorker believes that?
No, but you have said you don't think there should be.
Yeah, but you said, how can I advocate for New Yorkers? So I should only advocate for one type of New Yorker or all New Yorkers?
Well, that's tough. I don't think you can advocate for all New Yorkers.
Oh, really? Okay, so which New Yorker I shouldn't advocate for? The ones that agree with you or disagree with you?
Well, if you believe there should be no mass deportations, how can people believe that you will advocate for that with the incoming Trump administration?
Yeah, but you set up a question. This is very interesting, the question you set up. So there's certain New Yorkers I shouldn't advocate for?
I'm not sure that was my question. My question was, why should New Yorkers trust that you will advocate for them with the administration?
Let's go back again. There's some New Yorkers, there are people who stop me on the street and says, I voted for the president and I believe there should be mass deportation. There are people stop me on the street and say, I believe it shouldn't be mass deportation. So what one needs to do is have the ability to sit people in the room and come up with real solutions. That's what I've been doing for 3 years. And so for you to state I'm trying to cover someone's favor, when this is what I've been talking about since the beginning of my administration, that we've been in this problem. And even prior to that, I've been an advocate to deal with immigration issues. So this is not about trying to get anyone favor.
He just wants to do whatever he wants to do. And this is why woke Mayor Brandon Johnson, he's on his way out. He's probably one of these people who's about to get fired and he don't even know it. So basically, Brandon Johnson's push for a $300 million property tax hike, coupled with his sanctuary cities policies, this has literally put him in a very challenging position. He's caught between the city council rejecting his tax increase and growing frustrations from Chicago citizens, all the while facing the possibility of federal intervention under Trump's bill. That's all I can say.
When you're in
The country illegally is violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
Tackling this kind of waste, fraud, abuse, bureaucratic bloat, we're going for the stuff that's basic common sense that most Americans actually agree on. And I hope we're going to actually be able to help unite the country by eliminating waste, which is something that all Americans, regardless of partisan affiliation, can get behind. And that's how Elon and I are thinking about it.
All right, guys. So I want you guys to watch how AOC, she's ruined herself again. Like AOC has a way of embarrassing herself. So Donald Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, has been selected. And he's making some, he's already making moves. Let's just put it to you like that, right? So I want you guys to watch not only AOC just completely lose her freaking ever-loving liberal mind as she attempts to attack Tom Homan before the panel here. I want you to understand, I want you to watch how simply answering the question, he literally shuts AOC down. And this is why I think people like this channel, because unfortunately they don't share this on mainstream media, but we do this here. We highlight how the disparities are being like swept under the rug. I try to share the truth with you guys. I want you guys to understand what's really happening behind the scenes. And I want you guys to understand the truth and not just read some manipulated headline that makes you think one thing when the truth is actually far different than what they want you to think. So anyway, appreciate you guys hitting the like button and subscribing. Watch AOC get roasted.
Includes family separation.
The same as is whenever U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I will be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're in the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
You guys, unbelievable. AOC, she inevitably, that she does it every time. She makes a complete fool out of herself every single time. And this is nothing short of that. I mean, the pauses, the realization. See, this is the thing with AOC, and this is why I think a lot of people hate AOC, and it's her own fault. It's her fault that people don't like her. But the thing is every time she pauses, it's the realization that, oh dang, you're right. Okay, what other lie can I throw out here? What other statement can I make that will make Tom Homan, who's Donald Trump's latest, newest border czar, look like a racist? How can I, if I'm AOC, this is what she does every single time. How can I position this next statement or question in a way where it looks like illegal immigrants being deported seems inhumane, or like they're being treated differently from anyone else. And yet you have Tom Homan gracefully, literally just responding like, look, this would happen to anybody. Like anyone will be separated from their children. He said himself, as a police officer or as a former police officer, if he was driving as a DUI, if he got pulled over for DUI with a child in the car, he would be separated from his kid. He has explained how American citizens who drive and get pulled over for DUI with children in the car, they get separated. It's no different. And you know, it's so funny, guys, is like you almost get confirmation of Donald Trump's cabinet picks being good when you see people on the left losing their minds, when you see lefties losing it, when you see The View literally just, storming off and flipping out anytime Donald Trump's people say or do anything. This is literally textbook, guys.
The appointment of Tom Homan today as border czar, and he will be in charge of a mass deportation program, the largest the country has ever seen, they say. And now Stephen Miller, as deputy chief of staff, should let you know that he was absolutely serious. What it means is grandmothers. What it means is brothers and aunts. What it means is abuelos y abuelas. It means dreamers. Those of you who voted for Trump, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You screwed around and you're about to find out.
No, you don't screw around and now you're about to find out. You know what's interesting though? Like, I mean, you can watch these guys melt down on their shows, storm off, and just flip out, freak out over all these different situations, mainly because this is contrary to what Kamala Harris wanted to do with her administration, guys. But the truth is, it looks like Tom Homan is actually going to be pretty fair about this. Comment down below if you agree or disagree.
Tackling this kind of waste, fraud, abuse, bureaucratic bloat, we're going for the stuff that's basic common sense that most Americans actually agree on. And I hope we're going to actually be able to help unite the country by eliminating waste, which is something that all Americans, regardless of partisan affiliation, can get behind. And that's how Elon and I are thinking about it.
Wow. I mean, first of all, I don't mind paying my taxes. I don't want to pay a cent more than I'm legally obligated to pay. But the problem that I have is when you know that your federal government is wasting your taxpayer dollars, the problem with that means you're having more money taken out of your paychecks because they're horrible with the money that they get. So they need more of it from you. That's the problem that Vivek Ramaswamy, that's the problem that Elon Musk is planning on solving. Eliminating the waste. I understand that it costs money to run the country, but raising our taxes just because they want to send more money to foreign countries, that's not fair to us. I mean, when we have more money taken out for capital gains because the stock market was good to us and we sold our investments and we're trying to take in some of the return on investment that we've earned by taking on risk being invested in the stock market, we shouldn't be punished for being successful. We shouldn't be punished for being higher income earning individuals. And this is what's happening. And this is why this is what should really be highlighted more. Americans should be able to take home more of their money. They should be able to get more of their money as a result of their sweat and equity that they've put in. How would you like to get? Have you ever looked at your paycheck and looked at the gross versus the net? How would you like to get a lot more of that gross number compared to the net that you normally go home with, right? And I think that these guys could actually make this happen for us, because Donald Trump's talking about lowering our taxes. I want to see that. And he's not talking about just lowering taxes for billionaires and the elites. We're talking middle class guys.
Well, that was Vivek Ramaswamy touting the new Department of Government Efficiency that he and Elon Musk will be running. Now, also known as DOGE, this temporary agency will partner with the White House and Office of Management and Budget to drive structural government change from outside the government.
DOGE. Isn't it funny how they called it that? Department of Government Efficiency, not to be confused with the cryptocurrency Dogecoin, but I'm pretty sure that was no mistake. That was no sleight of words.
Now, they put out their first messaging on X yesterday, writing this: working overtime to ensure your tax dollars will be spent wisely. So what have we been spending some of our federal funds on?
I'd love to know.
Almost $550,000 went to a Russian lab to run experiments on cats' brains.
A Russian lab. Isn't it funny how the Dems, who have largely been in control over the last 16 years, the Dems have been in control over the last 12 of 16 years, and yet $549,000 was awarded to Russia to research like some cats, to run some experiments on cats. Now you got to wonder, because the left, the Dems, are the same people who are blaming Trump for the Russia hoax, and yet you're sending $500,000 over to Russia for arguably some questionable cat-related experiments. Are you kidding me?
Was spent by the National Institutes of Health. 3.7 million.
By the way, the National Institute of Health, isn't that the same organization that ended up like creating this whole COVID situation with Anthony Fauci?
$1 million of funding went to a study on monkeys and gambling, another NIH fascinating project, and the State Department awarding tens of thousands of dollars for drag shows in Ecuador. And that's just the tip of the wasteful spending iceberg. Here's Senator James Langford rattling off just a few government spending projects at a House hearing last year. Watch.
What you're about to hear here, ladies and gentlemen, it will likely leave you enraged. I just want to warn you. Watch.
Last year, the State Department did a grant to Ecuador to host 12 drag shows in Ecuador with American tax dollars. Now, we may have different opinions in this room on drag shows. I'm just asking the simple question. Is the best use of American tax dollars to actually fund drag shows in Ecuador with U.S. tax dollars? Now,
ladies and gentlemen, Senator James Langford of Oklahoma asking a very simple question here. Is this the best use of American taxpayer dollars? I would strongly disagree with that. Why would we be wasting American taxpayer dollars to research freaking drag shows in any country?
National Science Foundation last year did a study of butterflies in Europe. So we funded with American taxpayer dollars. Last year there was also a NEA grant that was done to set up a display in Brooklyn for the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which, by the way, is not even an American band. We had an almost, $350,000 grant to study smart toilets. Was one of the grants that we actually paid for with our federal tax dollars last year. We also had a grant that was done studying colonial Mexican soundscapes. We, last year, did a study on helmets and seatbelts in Ghana to be able to study whether seatbelts and helmets were effective for saving lives in Ghana.
Do we really need to spend money on verifying and validating whether seatbelts and helmets save lives in Ghana? This has been proven 40, 50 years ago. We're already, this is a complete waste of money. Just yet another example. I'm not saying that, we shouldn't verify, but we already know this. So why are we revalidating things that we already know?
Can I just go ahead and answer that question for free? Seatbelts and helmets are a good idea.
Duh.
They save lives. Free.
Haley, the American people had no idea about this, and how would they? When the administration we are disentangling ourselves from is committed to an opacity, and at the same time, Americans can't afford grocery bills, but hey, let's spend millions on a bunch of ridiculous projects outside this country.
It is complete and total malpractice, and the biggest government positions to me that have been appointed are Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk in this new department. And it's not just the money. The money is a big part of it. It is gutting the career civil service from this administration. Let me give you an example. Trump becomes president in 2016. Trump goes in. Do you want to know what happens 1 month later? 1 month after he is president of the United States, commander-in-chief, a vote of the American people, details of his calls with the foreign leaders of Mexico and Australia were leaked. Mexico went to the Associated Press. Australia details went to the Washington Post. These were career civil servants leaking the details Trump was having with foreign leaders. They need to go. The American people spoke. He is president of the United States. Get rid of the bureaucracy. It's not about undermining Trump. That's undermining you, undermining your vote. Get rid of them on day one. Vivek, I know, is up to the task. I've had conversations with him about this. It's time to put these two in charge. Give them a ton of power. Get rid of career civil servants. Yes.
I've actually worked for the government several times, and just being in there. Number one, these buildings are so they feel really governmenty. I mean, I hate to say it, like I don't even know how to explain it. I'm talking about dim lighting, people who just show up every single day, collect a check. They're just a drain. They're leeches. They're leeches on tax-paying citizens. And I felt like I was the only one there that was actually trying to get any work done. I mean, so a lot of these people, they make so much freaking money in these positions, and for what? They're useless. They're paper pushers. They're people who, and not to point the finger at some people who work at the freaking DMVs, but you ever work in a DMV? You ever go to a DMV and you deal with these government employees who are just, they hate their jobs? You ever go to the tag office, you need to renew your tag, and you deal with these people who absolutely freaking hate life? I mean, some of these folks out here, hardworking people, and actually serve the community, they serve society, and they're useful. But there's a lot of other folks who are in these back offices who are completely worthless, just collecting a check. They're undermining the government, leaking like this. This is a national security leak. I mean, which we've just heard. This is a national security problem. Okay, so yes, the swamp needs to be drained. Anyway, guys, I do hope that you guys appreciate being updated. If you haven't already, do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join us over in our Patreon community. I'm gonna leave a link for you guys down below. You can get early access to our content, commercial-free, exclusive content that you can't even see here because I just don't release it here. And also, if you want to take your life to the next level, join us in our Liberty Pursuit Network. I'll leave a link for you guys in the description down below. We're a growing community of like-minded individuals who are literally getting it. So join us as soon as you can. The memberships will be going up here shortly, so get in while you can. Happy Friday, guys. Oh, and don't forget, there's a big fight tonight. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. I understand that we're going to be able to catch Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul's fight tonight, November 15th, 2024 on Netflix. And I don't know if Netflix is going to be airing the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight for free or they're going to be charging for it. But I have a Netflix subscription, and basically when I went to go check out the fight, it said you could schedule it or like notify me, but it didn't like prompt me to pay. So that might be pretty cool. The other thing was I saw the fight available, the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight on Amazon Prime, and I believe it was $7.99. So one way or the other, I'm watching this thing because I want to see Mike Tyson beat Jake Paul's butt. But comment down below. Who do you think is going to win, Mike Tyson or Jake Paul? I'll catch you guys on the next one. Be safe. Well, guys, the great wealth transfer is in full effect. And, whether it's Donald Trump that ends up winning the election or if it's Kamala Harris, oh, God, we're in a world of a pickle, as my grandfather would say. Our freedoms are being stolen, guys. Credit card companies are out to get us. And if you don't understand the game, well, you end up getting played by the game. Now, if you're anything like me, guys, you were probably out of shape, maybe in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and just feeling like the system is just completely taking advantage of you. I remember for a long time, I could rarely ever get any time to spend with my wife. And it's kind of funny because where I used to work with a lot of married men. And a lot of those married men would always complain about their spouses as if they really just didn't even like their spouses, which is sounding like a pretty horrible situation. But that was the case for many of them. They didn't like who they were married to. But I was different. Anyway, through trial and error and through a lot of pain, I figured out how to gain freedom and also lose a lot of weight and actually get in shape. And guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, that was a game changer. To no longer be living paycheck to paycheck, figuring out how to get the credit cards to pay me, the power of a strong credit score. I pay thousands of dollars less per year for the same house as my neighbor just because my credit is better than his is. And this is not to brag. But this is the truth. The banks are literally taking advantage of the poor. It's like the people who can least afford it, they're charging the poor what is like unofficially called a poor tax or a tax on the poor. I'm now at a point where, number one, I don't pay for credit cards. In fact, credit card companies pay me to use their cards. And I figured out how to build a lifestyle that is just ultimately very, very healthy. I lost a tremendous amount of weight and I put on a lot of muscle. But when I was struggling, I wish I knew people who knew these things. So anyway, I decided to create a community of like-minded people who are also interested, just like me, in living better. So if you guys want to join my community, it's called the Liberty Pursuit Network. It is brand new. Come on over. I'd love to have you guys and join like-minded people. Be positively motivated by others who are also on the same pursuit. So I'm going to leave a link for you guys so you can join me over on the Life Pursuit Network in the description down below this video. So check it out, guys, and let's not be a victim of this great wealth transfer that is taking place right now.